just work tutoring.
Ready?
Yes.
Okay. Hello everyone and welcome to another video. If you're new, my name is Joanna Wilson and today I'm joined with the man, the myth, the bio legend, Mr. Luke Sutton. And I feel like we talk so much on the channel about you. We say Luke and it's almost like he's this mythical character that like...
Which I quite like.
So what I wanted to do, seeing as I'm with you for a whole week, is actually get you in front of the camera and ask you some stuff.
Okay.
Like
I said earlier, do I need a lawyer present?
Yeah.
I am a talent manager, I guess is the best way of putting it. I refuse to use the word agent because it doesn't fit right with how I approach my job. But I help manage the careers of people within sport and outside of sport as well, in broadcasting and TV and radio. And I do lots of other bits of work as well. Of course, one of my high-profile clients is the one and only Niall Wilson. But he's not the only one. And yeah, that's it. It's an absolutely brilliant job to work with these sorts of people. And now I have the lovely Joanna helping me as well. I am an ex-professional cricketer, but that feels like it was 7,000 million years ago.
When did you retire from cricket?
2011.
2011, so 11
Sorry,
years ago.
2012. Sorry, 2012, yeah.
So 10 years ago?
10 years ago,
This
yeah.
year?
Yeah.
Has it been a long 10 years?
It's been honestly an amazing 10 years. The best 10 years since of not playing. But I retired so long ago that I can't remember what it felt like to be a cricketer. And
Really?
Yeah, it's that long ago. Now I just feel like I'm doing what I'm doing now.
This is quite one that's come up quite a lot in various different ways, but like how did you transition from sports person to manager? How did you get into the role that you do now?
Yeah, it's actually a brilliant question. So before I retired from cricket, I'd already set up with a friend of mine a business which still exists today, and my business, the talent management, is called Activate Management. And originally we set up Activate camps, which was holiday camps and sports academies for children all over the country, and we set that up in 2005. So when I was coming towards the end of my cricket career, I already had quite an established business that was doing well. It wasn't in talent management, but was in sport. So when I came towards the end of my playing career, I was teammates with Jimmy Anderson, who anyone who knows anything about cricket will know, probably the greatest we've ever had. He was a teammate of mine, sat next to me. We were very, very good friends, and he was having trouble with his management. And he said, "Well, look, would you consider managing me?" And at the time, I hadn't ever considered talent management, but I did know business because we already had the business set up, and I did know sport because I'd come from it. I just didn't have any experience within the actual job. Cut a very long story short, we decided to give it a 3-month trial. 3 months became 8 years or something like that. Very successful, and then I just found my flow with it because I think I had a nice blend of understanding business and what worked on a commercial business level, and understanding athletes and what type of human beings they are and how they tick. And I think that blended it nicely for me. But to be perfectly honest, I had to learn on the job, like a lot of things, a bit like you're doing now. You have to experience it in order to learn, and you just need to dive in the deep end. There's times when I look back on things and think I could have done that better, or I could have organised it better, or I missed something.
Yeah.
But nothing that's been like absolutely catastrophic.
Okay.
But and I think I'd say this in any area of life, but definitely within sports management, if you make a mistake, just make it once, remember, and then correct it from then on. If you keep doing it, you're just going to run into trouble.
Another question that's come up quite a lot, who else do you manage?
People like Sam Quek, Matty Lee, who obviously won Olympic gold medal at Tokyo, a load of other cricketers, TV people, but those are the kind of range of people that I manage.
Yeah, and how do you find it managing different types of people? Obviously, you've got to be a bit of a chameleon, I guess, and approach different people in different ways. Do you find that everybody's like massively different, you have to have different approaches, or do you feel like there's quite a lot of similarities between the people that you manage?
I think you've got to very quickly assess what type of person that particular client is. There's certain things that athletes or high-performing people will always have in common. They will be quite absorbed in what they're doing. They'll hyper-focus on what they're doing, and that will be the most important thing in their life. So they'll struggle to see beyond that. It'll be what's going on. So you have to appreciate that you're fitting into their world rather than they're fitting into your world. And they will be exceptional because they will be completely and utterly driven to achieve excellence in whatever that might be. And when you're that driven, they will bulldoze things out of the way. And again, you have to fit into that world rather than trying to mould them into something not. You have to understand the kind of animal of what a high-performing person is. Everyone's different in how they communicate, what's important to them, what's not important to them, things outside of their main focus in their life. Like Niall, has always been an athlete who, when he was doing full-time gymnastics, needed other things to keep his mind fresh and just feel that he wasn't just lost in gymnastics. Other athletes really need just to keep it very simple and it just to be about what they're doing.
What's it like working with Joanna?
It's awesome. No, do you know what? This is true. I tried to get Joanna to work, and I corrected her yesterday, or the other day. She doesn't work for me. She works with me. I asked Joanna to work with me maybe 2 years ago.
More than that. I was 19, 4 years ago.
Yeah, the reason I did was because as soon as I met Joanna, I'm not trying to embarrass you. I knew you are exceptional, and you will continue to be exceptional. And you've also got capacity to understand finite detail and to be creative, and I think that's really unusual. And I think actually in management you have to be able to do that. You have to understand detail because an eye will go, where are we going? And if you don't know, no one knows. But you've also got to be able to see outside the peripheries and see how someone might be able to grow in a certain way or not. I always saw that in you, and I thought that it was. There's not. I'm really embarrassed.
People have asked how do we work together? What do I actually do?
Almost like a right-hand woman, I would say. The most important stuff is helping manage Niall, Luke and Ash, Matty Lee, and Lauren Williams. Those are the main areas of our concern, of our joint concern.
What's changed in professional sport since you left it?
The biggest thing that's changed, both positively and negatively, is social media.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say that.
Massively. Social media has blown up everything around range and reach of anything. Athletes from minority sports are now able to compete with mainstream sports. Niall, a brilliant example, a gymnast versus a footballer, is able to compete commercially because of social media. Without it,
that's really cool.
People just don't watch gymnastics enough on TV. They wouldn't know, they watch football all the time. So that has been a huge difference. And if someone's got personality and charisma and difference, social media gives them a platform to express that they didn't have previously. And like I said before, Niall is the perfect example of that. One of the biggest challenges for athletes is they've learned what they're doing from a very young age. Before they were 10 years old, they were very talented. And then as they go through their teens, they're exceptionally talented. And then they go into their professional sport. It's all they know. And so they've lived in a slightly false bubble of what life's like. They won't have had to go to a job, lived a 9-to-5 lifestyle. They'll have agents who will be helping them with things. And that's because their world is very different to the normal world. Then social media comes along, which adds this layer of adoration. So, if I post something, this many people will like it, or this many people won't like it. Or if I play really well, I'm going to be adored. If I play really badly, I'm going to get horrible stuff. People getting caught up in the adoration of it and thinking that's real. If I get 50,000 likes, it means I'm popular. And also it meaning if I get 500 comments telling me that I'm crap and I should never play the sport, that's also real. And in someone who's in that false bubble or strange bubble, that can be very destructive.
Who's your most difficult client?
You said you weren't going to ask me these sorts of questions. Good question. Because everyone's different, so people present different but difficult scenarios. I don't think I could. I'm not trying to.
So you've got to say Niall.
I love Niall. I love Niall like a brother. Niall has his moments, as you know. He can be. He's a
genius, absolute genius, and a creative genius, and just a brilliant human being. But he's not terribly detail driven. So
is there anything you guys don't agree on, me and you?
Well, I'm sure there is, but that's good.
Yeah.
I kind of when I first asked Joanna to come and work with me, I was like, I want you to tell me things that I don't see.
Yeah.
You know, it's not. Don't tell me something I can already see. Tell me if and I don't mind. I think it's a really healthy thing to be challenged.
Yeah.
I think we see a lot of stuff in a similar
in the same way, yeah.
But you can often say to me, well, maybe it's have a think of it like this, and that's a good thing.
Yeah. What is your best advice for somebody trying to build motivation and discover what they are passionate about?
Many mornings when I wake up and I don't feel motivated. Motivation is not a permanent thing. And it's also not a switch you can just turn on and off.
Yeah.
Today I'm going to build motivation, tomorrow I'm going to not. I think motivation a lot of the time is driven from routine, discipline and results. So you keep doing it, you get a good result, you're like, oh, I'll keep doing this, and then it's just a habit, and then it's just a lifestyle. So someone might say to you, Joanna's a great example, why are you so always motivated? And actually what they should be saying is, you've just been doing this for a really long time, and you just get up early and you do your stuff and you're, really on it. It's not motivation, it's just your habit, it's the way you live. For someone to build motivation, discipline and routine is the key starting point. Just do it again and again. Think of athletes again and again and again, and eventually that's where you drive it, and the results come and you go from there. Try everything, don't ever see failure as an end point, ever. It's never, failure isn't an end point. Failure is just a checking point to redirect you potentially. And so try everything, sometimes you have to go and work in a bank to realise you don't want to work in a bank.
Yeah, that's one of my things. I'm like, as long as I'm figuring out what I don't want to do, I'm one step closer to figuring out what I do want to do.
Definitely.
So if you try something and you're like, oh, turns out I don't like this, cool. At least you've crossed it off. You can try something new or try something else, and then you'll just find it, won't you?
Yeah.
Eventually.
Yeah.
How did you cope with transitioning from being a pro cricketer to the next stage of your life?
I use the phrase, it's like you have to remember you're now out the dressing room. So when you're in the dressing room, your mates and you have a laugh about stuff that goes on and, in different ways. When you become a manager, you're out that dressing room. So you're still a mate, but you're the person who can, from the outside, sometimes deliver the news or the message that someone might not necessarily want to hear. Let's use Niall example. I could be the guy to say you need to, pull it in or whatever it might be, and not be so close within the dressing room, within matey that I can't do that. And I think that's a really important transition to make.
Last question from me. What's your favourite quote?
But it's the one Simone Biles said after one of the Olympics. Surround yourself with the doers and the believers who can see the greatness in you when you cannot see it yourself. And I love that. I think that is massive. Who's around you is massive, because they can help elevate you to another level. Whereas if you've got not such good people, they can drag you down as well.
Thank you everyone for watching. Please let me know what you thought of it. Go show Luke some love on Instagram and TikTok.
Go to Amazon and buy a book.
And Luke has got how many books out now?
No,
it's going to be three.
It's
going to be three this year, so go check him out on Amazon as well. Remember to like, remember to subscribe. We'll see you in the next video. Keep smashing it. Remember, anything is possible if you just... What?
Yay!